Hi, I'm Julie Johnson with Firebox Training. Today I'm going to show you how to log into Obiee, and not only are we going to log in and take a look at our different roles that we belong to, but then we're going to log in as administrators and actually create brand new Obiee users. Okay, so this is going to require that we go to the WebLogic admin console to create users and groups, and then we're also going to go to the Enterprise Manager Fusion Control. So the first thing I want to do is just go to a browser, and I'm going to type in my host name, port number, /analytics, which gives us our login. So if I log in as user WebLogic and then I sign in, the easiest way to find out what groups or roles you belong to is by going up here to the upper right hand corner, clicking on your username, and then clicking on My Account. And then you'll see this last tab that says Roles and Catalog Groups. So here I belong to these guys right here. So what I'd like to do is take a look at all the different users that have accounts in the system. And I'm not just talking about Obiee, I'm talking about the WebLogic as a whole. Okay, so what I'm going to do is open up a new browser. This time it will be localhost : then the port number /console. And I'm still going to log in as user WebLogic because that is a WebLogic administrator. Wait a few seconds here, and once this page loads, we're going to go to the security realm. So a security realm is really just a collection of security information such as users and groups, authentication and authorization information, as well as password validation rules, things like that. On the left-hand side, we see the security realm, so I click on that link, and we have just one realm here called My Realm. So out of the box, after we install Obiee, that realm automatically is there. Okay, so now that I'm looking at My Realm, let's take a look at our users and groups. So by default, it's only going to show the first 10, and then I have to paginate through this. If I want to show more than one user at a time, I can click on that Customize Table and say, hey, let's display like 100 at a time, and then reset. So it will show up to 100 at a time. So these are all of the users that I have on the system. And what I'd like to do now is create a user called Julie. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say New, and the username will be Julie. For the description, this is where I typically put the full name of the person. This is optional. The provider is the for us, we only have one choice, default authenticator, but we can also define more than one authentication mechanism. And then finally the password. So here I'm going to make this a password. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Just make sure I type it in twice, and then I hit OK. Okay, so now that we've done that, are we able to actually log into this environment? Okay, right now I'm logged in as WebLogic to Obiee, and I have access to all these different menu items. Let me sign out, and now I'm going to sign back in with my new credentials. And I'm able to sign in, but look at what's here. I mean, as far as like the ability to create new objects, really I kind of have my hands tied behind my back. I don't have access to a lot of things in here. And that's because of my permissions. So here, if I look at my account, you can see that I am automatically a member of authenticated user as well as BI consumer. Okay, so let's see what caused those permissions to automatically show up. Well, the authenticated user is obvious. Once somebody is authenticated, they automatically belong to that group or that role. The BI consumer, we'll take a look at that one in just a moment. Okay. Now let's go back to here. Okay, so we're back in our console. I want to take a look at groups. Okay, so once again, if I want to show all of the groups, or at least, more than just 10 at a time, customize the table, and let's show up to 100, and you can see that I already have some groups in here. These were already created for me earlier. Now, don't get confused by these names. This says BI consumers with an S, whereas over here, this says BI consumer. Well, where is BI consumer defined? That's actually defined as an application role. Okay, so a lot of people initially get confused about the different layers here. From the WebLogic console, this is where we define any users as well as groups. Okay, so users and groups are completely independent of the application. So typically we add users to groups, and then on the application level, we have this thing called an application role. And so then you can associate groups with application roles. So you're probably wondering, well, where are the application roles defined? Certainly not here in the console. Okay, really where we have to go is yet another screen. We need to go to the Enterprise Manager Fusion Control, so /EM. Okay, I'm going to log in with my admin credentials. And here we have our business intelligence. Let's click on Core Application. And so this is where we're going to define our application roles and any associations that users and groups might have to them. Okay, so here under Core Application, notice that there's this Security tab right here. And then this Single Sign-On tab right down here. Here is a little area where we can configure and manage our application roles. Okay, so notice here, here is where BI consumer is defined, and if I scroll down a little bit, I can see who belongs to that application role. And you'll see that authenticated role belongs to the BI consumer, and that's why when I logged in as Julie, I automatically was a BI consumer. Okay, now if I also wanted to be a BI author, well, I could do that. I could directly associate user Julie with this application role, but that's really not a best practice. Really what we want to do is associate users with groups and then associate groups with application roles. So here I'm going to go into here I'm back at the console. I already have this group defined as BI authors. So if I want to associate user Julie with that, I can go to the users, here's Julie, and then here are the groups, and then I shuttle over whatever I want it to be a member of. So here I'm going to shuttle over BI authors. I'm going to save this. Now, if I go back here, I'm still logged in as Julie. If I look at my account and then my roles and catalog groups, you see it hasn't changed, and that's because I actually have to log out and log back in for it to see those changes. So Julie, and there we go. Now let's take a look at this. And here, Julie belongs to BI author. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can go ahead and hit cancel, and we're good to go. Well, I hope you got a lot out of this video tutorial. Please visit our website at www.fireboxtraining.com.